Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a very special edition of Cracking the Cryptic because some amazing things have happened on this channel over the last 24 hours. We've ticked over 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely startling. When we started the channel a couple of years ago, we had no clue we could have ever reached this sort of level, and thank you to all you guys who subscribe. It really does make a massive difference, and I think we have proved that puzzling has a place in the mainstream, which is always what we believed. We believed if you could show people interesting puzzles and how to solve interesting puzzles, then they would love it, and that does seem to be the case. And it really is terrific. Now we've also had a milestone on the channel regarding one of our videos, which we released about a week ago, and it was called a Sudoku with only 4 given digits. And it featured a puzzle by the Dutch master constructor Ard van de Wetering, involving a magic square. And that puzzle, believe it or not, has 1 million views. It has 1 million people have watched that video. 1 million people have tried Ard's puzzle. Now that is a testament to his constructing ability. It is the most beautiful puzzle. He is a beautiful constructor of Sudoku puzzles, and Ard, thank you very, very much for sending that puzzle in. I think we can confidently say that Sudoku puzzle must be now the most solved puzzle in the history of Sudoku. So that is a fitting tribute to you. Now, the other thing that happened in the last 24 hours, I told you it had been busy. James Charles, he tweeted yesterday to indicate he'd been watching a man solve Sudoku puzzles. And I wondered whether it was Ard's video that he'd seen, so I tweeted back to him, and then it emerged that it was. And James released a tweet and a Snapchat video supporting the channel. And James, thank you very, very much for doing that. The fact that somebody with your profile enjoys puzzles like we do, it is so massive, because it'll bring these sorts of puzzles to a whole new audience. We're delighted you enjoy the puzzles, obviously. And just to say as well, if you have a particularly favourite puzzle, let us know. We will, to say thank you for giving us the shout out, we will certainly do a video on a puzzle you'd like to see. So just as I say, just let us know, and thank you for doing that. Now, what else? Well, we've released 2 new puzzle hunts today over on Patreon, but free, completely free, not behind the paywall. There's one for adults and one for children, and these are by the Dutch constructor Jook van Veenendaal. And the children's one I think is very interesting, because I think it's going to be suitable for kids probably 7 to 10 years old. Having said that, I enjoyed solving it, so I'm just a big kid, I suppose. But it's a bit easier than the last one, but it features some of their favourite characters, and I think definitely it's worth checking out. If you know any children in that age bracket who are maybe a bit bored during self-isolation, then please go to Patreon and download it for them. And what else can I tell you? Oh yes, I should talk about today's puzzle. Now, this puzzle is by Jonas Gleim, the German constructor, and it has a bit of a special theme to it. So you can see it's got quite an interesting setup here. It's an anti-knight Sudoku, so I'll tell you how that works in terms of the rules in a moment. But if you look down this diagonal, you've got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Well, that maps out to the word Simons. Look at this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different digits, and then the S repeats, which is why the 1 is in that position. And now you'll find when we go back, there'll be a 1 here as well. Let's go back and have a look. How do I do that? Like that, yep. So this is the S, U, D. The O repeats, because the O of Simon is the O of Sudoku there. The K hasn't appeared yet, and the U is the U of Sudoku. So this pattern in the grid maps exactly to Simon's Sudoku, which is rather cool. Yeah, Jonas's puzzles are always brilliant. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And I should mention as well, he has an online puzzle competition coming out at the start of May. I don't have the details yet for that in terms of exactly when it's coming out. I know I think it's got 26 puzzles in it. one for each of the letters of the alphabet. So I don't know how it's going to work. He's going to send me the instruction booklet, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I know more. And with that, I should talk about the rules of this puzzle. It's anti-knight, so it's just like our chess Sudoku. Those of you who've played that will be very familiar with anti-knights puzzles. But if you haven't got the app or you don't know how it works, the way it works is as follows. Let's pick a digit. Let's pick this 5. Now, if this 5 was a knight in chess, it could jump to all sorts of different squares. It could jump to those ones, those ones, those ones, and those ones. Now, in anti-knights move Sudoku, this means that none of these yellow squares here can be a 5, because they would all be able to be taken by a knight on this square. So obviously the 5 rules out these squares just through normal Sudoku, but the extra squares that would be ruled out by the knight's move constraint would be these ones. And it leads to some beautiful, beautiful logic, this pattern. It's a very simple restriction, but it can be really, really effective in terms of generating beautiful puzzles. You can see this puzzle has very few given digits. What's that, 13? Something like that. So yeah, less than the 17 you need for a classic. And with that, I'm going to have a go. Now, if you want to have a go, obviously you just click on the link under the video. That'll take you to this webpage where you can play along. With that, let's get cracking. Now, I can see immediately I can place a 1 here, just normal. Therefore, let's pencil mark some 1s at the bottom. Remember, this square can't be a 1 because it's a knight's move away from that one. Now actually the 1s, we can continue with the 1s because these 1s are rather beautiful. We can't put 1 in those squares or these squares, but this 1 is a knight's move away from this square and this square. So that square is a 1. Which means one of those 2 squares is a 1. One of these 2 squares is a 1. Now, if you are used to solving knight Sudoku, you might spot something here, but there is a beautiful little trick we can do with this 1. Ordinarily, you wouldn't really look at it because you'd scan across and say, well, you know, there's no restriction. There's no 1s down here that restrict, surely this box enough. Well, actually, there is a restriction, because this 1 rules out those 3 squares, and it rules out that 1 because of the knight's move. But can either of those squares be a 1? No, because if we try a 1 in either of those squares, it rules out the 1 in the row and the 1 in the knight's move position. And the same is obviously true of a 1 there. It rules out that 1 and that 1. So that is gorgeous. So actually, straight off the bat, there's a 1 in one of those 2 positions, which gives us a 1 at the bottom, look. And this 1 feeds back into this box again. This can't be a 1 anymore. Oh, wow. So, yeah, we've just done all the 1s as a result of that. That is lovely. 4s must be up there, look. One of these 4s. 7. This one can't be a 7. So one of those 2 must be a 7. Now this 3 is extremely powerful. Look at this 3 on this box. 3 can't go in those squares, can't go in these squares because of the knight's move. So there is a 3-7 pair in that box at the top now. Now 3 also, look, can't go in those squares, so it must be in one of these 2. And look at these. Oh, this is brilliant. This 3 as well. So 3s can't go in those squares. This 3 sees those 2 squares, and that has to be a 3. That puts a 3 in one of these squares and down there. Now, in Knight's Move Sudoku, I recommend pencil marking where a digit can go in 3 positions in a 3x3 block. In Classic Sudoku, only use 2 positions, but in Knight's Move or any variant, try and use 3 because often that extra bit of information can be important. Now, this 5 is powerful. You often find this actually, a digit in the center of an edge like this has quite a potent effect. If we look at this box here where R square of 5 can go, none of those squares can be a 5. These 2 because of the knight's move constraint. So we get a 5 there, 5 there. Six, this 6, look, rules a 6 out from all of those squares. There must be a 6 in one of these two positions. Oh, now look, column 3. Where can a 4 go in column 3? These 4s here are absolutely gorgeous because they rule out that one, and this one sees both of those by knight's move. So there's a 4 at the top, which figures that 4 out, look, and we can pencil mark some 4s in the top right. And these squares now must be 5, 6 and 9 to complete the column. That one can't be 9. That one can't be 5. And that one can't be 6 because look at this. If this was a 6, it rules a 6 out from all 3 positions in column 3. That is absolutely beautiful. So the 6 must move up there. And that means we get a 6 locked into one of 3 positions up here and 2 positions on this side. Oh, I want to put 6s into those. Okay. Sorry, let me just stare at this for a second. Hopefully I'll be able to spot something relatively quickly. Although I'm not spotting anything just at the moment. 4, 8 must be in one of those 2 squares. This square is very restricted because it sees a 2, look. It sees a lot of digits. This square sees a 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is down here, so it's not in this square. 6, 7, 8. This has to be a 9, I think. Let me just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this 5 was what was shifting the 5s up there. C6, C7, C8. It must be a 9. Now that might be important because it gives us a 9. Ah, no, it does better than that. It gives us a 9 here. And that means we get 6 and 5 as well. Nine must be in one of 3 positions in this box, in box 2 there. Ah, now look, the 9 here sees that one and that one. So that shifts the 9 down into row 6 there, which means there's a 9 in one of those positions. This 6, can we use that now? Well, a bit. We can lock a 6 into one of those 2 squares, I think. Can't quite see how to disambiguate that. This isn't a 6 anymore. This must be a 2 or a 4. Ah, this 5, look. We've not looked at that yet, but it sees that square. So that can't be 5. This is the 5, which means this is a 5, doesn't it? Looking at these 5s. So that means that one's got to be the 6, and this one's got to be an 8. Now this 6... Oh, no, it doesn't see anything useful. And this 8... Well, there's a 6-8 pair here now, because of these 6s, look, and these 8s. So this is a 2-4. And these 3 squares have got to be 2, 3, and 4. Now the 4 here is very powerful because those 2 squares can't be 4. This one because of normal Sudoku, and that one because of knight's move. So that fixes all of that as well. So we get down to a 2-4 pair here, 2-3 pair here, 3, 7 pair here. This 8 sees this square, so that forces the 8 down now. Goodness me. So 6 in this box here is locked into one of 3 positions. Four in one of those positions. Ah, now here's a trick using these 4s. I love this when this happens, but look at this square. Can this square be a 4? The answer, believe it or not, is no, it can't be, because it sees that one normally and these 2 by knight's move. So this can't be a 4. Now, we've got a 4 here, so those ones can't be 4. This can't be 4. There must be a 4 in one of those squares. Now that creates, look, a 3, 4, 9 triple in this box. So these 3 squares are 3, 4 and 9 in some order. That one can't be 4 because of this 4. And the 4 sees that square, so that's now a 2. This is a 4. This 2 sees the 3 here, the 2, 3. So that's got to be 3 now. So, I mean, it's just stunning construction as usual. These constructors are so good. We've got 3, 9 in these 2 of these positions, so this must be a 2 or a 7. Sorry about this. Let me just... here's something. Here's something. These 3s, and believe it or not, these 3s interact on this box. So we can't have 3s in those positions naturally, but these 2 squares also can't be 3s. We've seen this trick already. If you manage to pencil mark 2 digits orthogonally connected like this, it's such a big restriction. We can't have 3 now in either of, because it rules out both of those, and a 3 here would do exactly the same, rule out both of them. So in this box actually the 3 has to be down there. Therefore we get 3s over here, look. Now why is that helpful? Oh my goodness, it is helpful. It is helpful. This square. This square now, it can't be a 3. What can it be? It can't be 1, 2. It can't be 3. It can't be 4. It can't be 5. It can be 6. It can't be 7. It can't be 8. Now can it be 9? Let's see. No, because that rules 9 out from all of those squares. It's ridiculous. It's the same trick as this 4 down here. So this is not 9. The only thing this can be is 6. Which means, what does it mean? It means that this must be a 6, I think. So the 9... Okay, so that's good, but it's not... Oh, it's very good. It's very good. Because now, where can a 2 go in this box? This 2 rules out all of those squares, so that one must be a 2. So 2 must be in one of these 3 squares. And what have we got now? So in this column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. So we need 5, 7. This square. This square can't be 5, 7 or 8. This square has to be 9. So we've got 9. We've got the 9s here. I think that's been sitting there for a while, that digit. Or maybe it hadn't. Maybe I needed the 2 in order to be sure that that wasn't a 2. Yeah, maybe. 5, 7, 8 now into these squares. Ah, that one, look, sees a 5 by knight's move and a 7, so that's got to be an 8. So these two now have got to be 5 and 7. Now, that one shifts the 9 up there. Let's just do that. Now there must be a way of disambiguating this 5, 7, surely. I'm sure there is, I'm just not quite seeing it. 8, look, must be here, because this 8 rules out this square. Ah, and there you go, that's how to eliminate the 5 and the 7, is to use these 5s on it. So that's a 7, that must be a 5, which means this is a 7 down here. In this box we still need 2, 3 and 7. Ah, so the 7 is shifted over into this side. And can we resolve this now? Do we have a 2 that's going to be useful? Not sure. Not sure. So we might have to look somewhere else. 3, 4 here. So what do we need along here? Ah, we've got 9s as well that are restricted. Look, there must be a 9 in one of these two squares. And this 9 sees that one. Okay, so that's another digit we get. We get a 9 here. So over here we still need to place 3, 4 and 5. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. 3, 4 and 5. There don't seem to be many things restricting that. Now the 5s mean there must be a 5 down here. This 5 tells us the order, so that's 5, that's 3. Ah, now that does have an impact over here. That removes 2 of the options from these squares. These two squares have got to be 2 and 8 now. That's doable. That shifts, that means that's a 3. This is a 2, 7 pair, which we can't resolve. Or if we can, I'm not seeing how to do it. These two squares have got to be 7 and 9. I also can't see how to resolve that one either. Okay, so what have we got down here then? We've got 2, 6 and 8. Well, yes, we've got a 6 and an 8 seeing this square. So that one is a 2. This is a 6, 8 pair. Now, does this 2 help us? Not hugely, unless I'm missing something. Right, let's look at these two squares then. Those two squares are 2 and 6. These... Oh, no, I see, it's this square that's weak. Now this square is weak. How do we tell it's weak? Well, look at the knight's move combinations from this square. It's this 7 and this 9. And if we compare that with the contents of the row, none of these digits match. All of the yellow squares are different. Therefore, this square can only be a choice of 2 digits, i.e. it's the ones not appearing in those squares. Now that is a 3 and a 4, therefore. There is a 3, 4 pair now in column 7, so this square is a 9. I've got a 3, 4 pair over here as well. This 9 sees this 7, 9 pair. And okay, so we've still got 3, 4. So these have got to be 5 and 8. And look, the 8 here tells us that one has to be the 5 then. So that's a 5, that's a 5, that's an 8. And does that finish it? Oh, look at that. We've got a deadly pattern on 2 7s there. That's going to have to be resolved by one of the knight's move constraints. If this pattern emerged in classic Sudoku, we'd know that either it was a broken puzzle or that we've broken the puzzle during our solve. So we've got 3, 7, 8 here, look. Can't see anything impacting on those options, so let's put them in and see what else we can. How do we finish this off? 6 is here, 6, 8's here. This row we still need to place 3, 4, 7 and 9. So that square is 3, 4 or 7, I think. And this is always a horrible moment when you're solving these knight's move puzzles, because there will be a square that is impacted on a knight's move by something that I'm not seeing. I know it's there. I know you guys have seen it. And where are you? It's this 5 actually. It was just normal Sudoku. That's a 5 there. That gives us a 3, 4 pair in column 9, which means this must be the 7. The 7, look, does see this 2, 7 pair, and it sees this 3, 7 pair. So that resolves that that's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 7, that's a 7, that's a 7, and that's a 3. This 3 sees that 4. And we get a whole flurry of activity now. That fixes the 8, which fixes the 8 and the 6, which fixes the 6 and the 2. This is a 3, and if I haven't made a mistake, that is a 9, and that is how to solve Jonas's brilliant puzzle. So thanks again, you guys, much appreciated. In fact, I think what we'll do is the next words you hear will be James Charles talking about the channel, and yeah, we loved hearing somebody so enthusiastic. So thanks guys, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.
Okay, you guys, so as we all know, on these quarantine days, we are all reaching new levels of boredom. And a few days ago, I came across this YouTube channel called Cracking the Cryptic. And it is basically this man who just solves Sudoku puzzles. And as you guys know, I am definitely a nerd at heart. I love puzzles and problem solving and escape rooms. So I have been like binge watching this man's videos, and I tweeted about it. I think it was like last night, and then I literally just checked my YouTube subscription feed, and he uploaded a video called "If It's Good Enough for James Charles." So he saw my tweet. Listen to this.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. We've had even some celebrities who seem to have seen. I think James Charles, who some of you may know, especially if you're watching this from the States, he tweeted last night, and the tweet certainly suggested he was watching the video. I